Hey everybody,
Hey guys!
we're back, and because we didn't get a chance to do our regular sci-fi reviews for Channel Zero and for Aftermath, we thought we'd do a live discussion of our opinions on those two shows, as well as just the
Yeah.
Sci-Fi Channel overall and the stuff we watch on it, and like things like Z Nation and The Expanse, and gosh, what other show? Dark Matter and Killjoys. We'll just do like an entire
all
sci-fi thing.
Yeah.
I would like this discussion to be as interactive as possible. So if there's something specific from a particular episode, from specifically Aftermath or Channel Zero, fire that to us in the chat, and we'll be happy to talk about that because we want this to be really super interactive.
Yes.
All right, so see what comes on first on Tuesday nights. Channel Zero, I think.
Yeah, Channel Zero's first.
So we'll go with Channel Zero first. So if you're not totally caught up on Channel Zero, which would be Season 1, Episode 5, titled Guest of Honor, mute the video, leave the video, do whatever you got to do to avoid any spoilers if you want to. Okay, so Channel Zero. This Season 1 so far for me has been really up and down.
Yeah.
And Episode 5 was really just kind of even. It wasn't a bad episode by any stretch of the imagination, but it didn't live up to the previous 3 episodes, which were really outstanding.
Yeah, but that was like the last 3 episodes were really, really good.
They were extraordinary.
Like this one wasn't like extraordinary, but it still like moved the story along, and it had some important information. It just wasn't as extraordinary as the last 3.
But there was some really cool stuff that happened in it. Like we find out that Eddie, he created Candle Cove, which mind blown there because I totally thought it was Mrs. Booth.
Yeah, me too. But no, it was Eddie. Like somehow in his psyche, he had the ability to create this show. So Candle Cove didn't led to believe this entire time, no, Eddie created Candle Cove to corrupt others.
Yeah, he was already corrupted.
Yeah.
And so the biggest question I left after watching Episode 5 of Channel Zero is, does Mike have any kind of psychic abilities? Because Eddie clearly does. He created Candle Cove. Does Mike? And now Eddie's freaking trying to take over Mike. Mike is, when Mike pulled out the tooth as it was growing in, that to me, even though this episode wasn't quite as good as the previous 3, that moment I think was the best moment from the entire series so far.
Yeah, and I'm really glad that we had that because I'm like, they mentioned the tooth. I feel like that should be important, and it was important because now Eddie is taking over Mike, and that tooth is growing in, and it's like he's. I was just like, I knew the tooth had to be important, and I'm so glad that it was.
See what else? Major things. Well, see, we got a death in that. Wow, kitties are playing like crazy right now. They're going.
Yeah, they're going apeshit.
Yeah, they got in the catnip or something. Let's see, Simon. Simon is a character. I think that was his name. The guy who's dating the sheriff.
Yeah, I think it was Simon.
He died in this episode, which we kind of saw coming. We thought he was going to die the previous episode.
Last episode, yeah.
But he really seems like a character who was created to die.
Yeah. Like you kind of knew as soon as you met him that he was destined to die soon.
And like as soon as. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the new sheriff's name, the acting sheriff.
Oh my gosh.
I'm wanting to say, I want to say Amy, and I think that's wrong. But as soon as he expressed an interest in her, I'm like, oh, he's going to die.
Yeah.
So that was, I liked his death. It was an obvious death.
But it was nicely done.
Yeah. AJ, your question, is Channel Zero as horrific and terrifying as the promo led it to be? Here's the thing. Our opinion on Channel Zero does not really fall in line with the overall opinion of Channel Zero. The first episode was very lackluster in our opinion.
And was not horrifying, was not terrifying, was not even remotely creepy. It was just weird.
But the 3 episodes after that were super horrific and terrifying.
Yeah, like it is just oozing creep out its pores. It is super, super creepy right now.
So definitely give it a shot, AJ, if you haven't yet. You can stream all the episodes that are out right now from Syfy.com. So
Yeah.
you can go through and get caught up. They're probably on, depending on who your cable provider is, you can probably stream it directly on your TV if you have an on-demand service. So if you haven't checked it out, it's seriously do. It's very, very good.
Yeah.
Let's see what else is going on in Channel Zero. I want to talk about Mrs. Booth.
Yeah.
Out of all the characters, like when she showed up in the skeleton pirate costume, I thought that was like just a realized real version of that. I didn't realize that it was going to be one of the characters in costume. And when she pulled the mask off, I was like, holy shit, that kind of blew me away.
Yeah. And gosh, Mrs. Booth, like it's just crazy. Her whole story in this episode was really, really good because like Eddie saved her. She had like epilepsy or something that caused her to have seizures.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically saved her from that. And then she kills her son for him.
Yeah.
Like, it gets really creepy and terrifying there. Like,
Yeah.
how does a mother do that? Like, it's like when she had the seizure and he stopped it, he showed her something, and whatever he
Yeah.
showed her was so magnificent. She was willing to follow him regardless of what she had to do.
Yeah. And I hope we get more insight into that as far as what he did to her on an emotional and psychological level, because all he did that we as the viewer could see is he used his ability to stop a seizure. But we don't know
What she saw
in her mind
yeah.
what she saw. Whatever it was big enough that she was okay with him murdering her son, Jacob.
Yes, yeah. Okay, we had a couple of questions.
Okay.
John Alexander asked, any idea what/who the tooth person is?
Okay, here's something interesting about Tooth Child. The actor who's in the Tooth Child suit is a female. That doesn't necessarily mean that Tooth Child is female.
Yeah.
You know, for a while, I thought Tooth Child was actually Eddie, but
Yeah.
apparently it's not. So
I actually think it's Mrs. Booth's son.
Jacob, that's an interesting.
Like
yeah.
that's, I don't know why I think that. I just think it's her son. It's
That
like
would
she
fit.
seems like to kind of be helping with the tooth collection. It doesn't really.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
she was feeding Tooth Child teeth,
Yeah.
and so maybe on some level she's still taking care of Jacob by feeding him the teeth.
Yeah.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
What do you think, John? Let us know in the chat.
Who or what do you think the tooth person is?
Yeah.
AJ, there are tons of sci-fi shows to watch. Dark Matter, I think, is completely up to date on Netflix.
Yes, it is.
Killjoys is really good. There's so much. Oh, The Expanse is freaking amazing.
Yes.
Mind-blowingly good.
The Expanse. Okay, now I would compare The Expanse on a certain level to Westworld, because in The Expanse you have to pay attention to literally everything. You can't be messing around on your phone while you're watching it. So it's just, and it's the same thing in Westworld.
Yeah.
I think
I watched The Expanse twice, and the second time I watched it, I couldn't believe how much stuff I missed the first go around. Like, it was insane.
See, AJ says, so glad you're doing the stream. Tonight was a bit of a roller coaster. My parents were locked out of the house, and my dad had to use a crowbar to get the door open. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, that's awful.
Funny story. This is why I love doing live streams, is because we can do a discussion about a topic, but then the chat can also help flow the conversation into different off subject things.
Subjects.
So I lived in Indiana for about a month or two, a few years ago, before we started dating. And it was my first week in this house I was renting, and I locked myself out of the house. And luckily I had unlocked one of the windows, so I grabbed some trash cans, opened the window, and climbed in through the window. And wouldn't you know it, someone called the cops. But I was like, no, look, I live here. I just locked my keys in. So I was, and then the dude was really cool about it. But yeah, that's getting locked out of the house sucks.
Yeah.
And if you have no other way to get in, I can see breaking the door open with a crowbar.
Yeah, oh my gosh, growing up, I locked myself out of the house like a bajillion times. And for reasons unknown to me, my dad has taught me how to credit card. So I can't tell you how many times I use my library card to get into the house.
I don't know.
Doesn't work on a deadbolt, no.
No.
But if it's just the handle that's locked,
It just like a bathroom lock.
Yeah, like a bathroom lock. If it's just that's locked and not the deadbolt, yeah, just try. It doesn't take much finesse. I mean, I got it when I was like 16.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Is there anything else going on in Channel Zero we should talk about? I feel like there's a lot of stuff going on in Channel Zero, and we're missing some stuff.
Yeah. Did you take notes the other night?
I did, actually.
Yes. Where are the notes? Are they not very good?
Oh, here's one of the things that actually bugged me about Tuesday night's episode of Channel Zero. As Mike's wife, whose name I have forgotten by now, is driving his daughter home, she spins out. She sees somebody in the road, and she spins out. And then she needs a new rental car.
Yeah, like her car's busted.
Yeah, but she didn't. But she didn't hit anything. Yeah. She just spun out. So she bald spotted her tires. Who cares?
Yeah, like
you can still drive on that. So
they needed more of an explanation. Like just her on the phone being like, I don't know, the car just won't start. Anything, even if it's metaphysical, like we needed something because all we got as viewers was that she spun out, which doesn't break your car.
No, I've spun out a couple of times.
Yeah,
and
you can still drive.
Yeah, your car's still drivable. So the fact that you know she spun out and then all of a sudden now her car doesn't work, they needed to
give us a reason why.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's see. What else? Okay. Well, no, we kind of addressed the tooth already. So I think that's actually everything.
Yeah, from our notes. So do you guys have anything you want us to discuss or any questions, our opinions on the show or whatever?
Yeah. John Alexander says, oh, yeah, that was ridiculous. Both of us were like, why does she need a new car? Exactly.
Yeah, we're like, what? No.
And, like, again, it could have been a metaphysical explanation.
Yeah, all she had to do would, when she was on the phone with Lorenzo, be like, I don't know why it won't start. It just won't start.
Yeah. And then show a ghost tinkering with a spark plug or something. or even if they had shown one of the kids messing around underneath the car, and then later when she spins out and then the car won't start again, oh, the kid did something to the car.
Yeah, like we needed some sort of explanation. We didn't get one.
AJ says, I'll write that down on the list of the many, many reasons I don't want to drive. It really depends where you live.
Yeah. Some places it's great to drive, some places not so much. I couldn't wait to drive, and now I'm like, if he wants to drive, I'm like, all right, here's the keys. I'm totally great being a passenger.
Same thing with me. Driving doesn't make a difference. On a long trip, I would prefer to be the driver, no matter who we're riding with. Even if we're riding with a bunch of friends, I would prefer to be behind the driver's seat. Just because I trust my own driving more than I trust other people's. But just around town, I don't care.
Like with him and me, if he wants to drive, I totally am all for him driving. But if I'm with other people and I don't specifically know they're driving, I'd much rather be driving because I know I'm a safe driver.
Yeah. John Alexander says, also, they kind of let the whole thing with Mike's daughter showing up out of the blue go pretty easy. Yeah, they never did explain how she got there. Like, I think they mentioned that she lived, or that where she was like 400 miles away from where Mike is. I'm like, all right, how does a 7-year-old kid, or however old she's young?
Yeah, how does she get there?
How does she get there?
We got an explanation buy a bus ticket. Like we got an explanation for why, because she wasn't her. It was Eddie possessing her.
Yeah.
So we know why, but it's like, like how did she get there? And her mom was just like seemed mad at Mike.
Yeah.
Like it's his fault their daughter decided to go 400 miles to her dad's house for no freaking reason.
Like she obviously didn't walk. She didn't buy a bus ticket.
It was just, they could have, a little more information would have been nice.
I think they really kind of had to leave that unexplained though, because there really is no reasonable explanation for it. Nothing that would. And
maybe it's just part of the mystery. Like they don't want us to know, because if we know, it makes it less creepy and less terrifying.
Yeah.
That a 7-year-old child was able to get there.
Yeah, and also one of the things Channel Zero really does, probably as good, if not better, than any other supernatural show on television, is yes, it's a supernatural show. It deals with psychic abilities and Tooth Child, but it's also very grounded.
Yeah, yeah.
So like it's like a grounded supernatural,
It's
which
like,
is really
yeah,
cool.
it's like they found a way to ground most of the episode so that all the crazy stuff that happens doesn't feel so crazy. Like it doesn't feel so out there when it happens.
It's not utterly ridiculous and campy. And that's one of the things that actually makes it so creepy is you're like, dude, they've set this up to be completely reasonable, and that makes it terrifying.
Yeah.
Which and I think that's one of the reasons why they didn't explain how Mike's daughter got there, because there is no reasonable way to do it. So just leave it unknown.
Yeah. All right, John Alexander asks, how do you guys like the pace of the show? I actually really like the pace because I think it's like it goes slow, and then an episode will be fast, and then it'll be kind of medium, then fast, and then slow. It's like palpitations almost, like a heart rate, like like it doesn't want to have an even rhythm, and I kind of like that. Like it makes it that much more anxious and that much more nerve-wracking while watching it.
And shows on the Syfy channel typically go 10 to 15 episodes a season. And from what I can tell about Channel Zero, it's going to be a lot like American Horror Story, where every season is a different story. So the fact that, I mean, the series is moving along pretty fast. It's only 5 episodes into it, and we've found out who has started Campbell Cove.
Yeah.
Eddie's starting to possess Mike. A lot of stuff is going on. So it's actually, when you look at the overall progress of the story, it's moving really fast.
Yeah.
And I think they have to.
It has to, yeah.
I think they have to move it along that fast, because next season, which they're already filming, I've heard that somewhere, they're already filming, is going to be something totally different.
Yeah, and I think we're kind of used to it because we've been watching American Horror Story, and like we just started watching American Horror Story. Like we've kind of binge watched up to the current season. I think we're used to that pacing because we've been watching that. So like the pacing doesn't feel weird. Yeah.
So yeah, answer the question. I like the pacing. I think it's working very, very well. All right, I think we're going to move on to Aftermath, unless somebody has something else about Channel Zero they want to talk about. We'll wait a couple of seconds here and see. I'm getting a little parched. I think I might grab myself something to drink while we're waiting for the comments to catch up and see if we need to keep talking about Channel Zero. So excuse me for just a moment, guys. Anna will keep you entertained.
So I'm working on cosplay today. I'll probably do a live stream on Twitch after this. I'm going to a convention called Holiday Matsuri, which is it's just a winter convention, but it's kind of known for doing holiday or winter versions of cosplay. So I am working on right now a winter version of Poison Ivy. And if I finish that and I have time, I might do like a holiday version of Harley Quinn as well, because I'm like totally obsessed with Harley Quinn.
Okay, there we go. That is way better. I totally had a dry mouth right there for a second. I was like, I can't talk anymore. Sorry about that. You put that over there somewhere so I don't kick it over. On the other, on the other side of that thing is fine.
Oh, that's kind of curved. I'll put my phone down there. And
okay. All right, we'll just not knock that over. Yeah. Okay, do we have it? Imagine a Channel Zero Z Nation crossover.
I don't think Lauren would take any of Eddie's bullshit.
No, she wouldn't. She'd be like, "You're growing another tooth. You're a grown man. I give you I give you mercy."
Yeah, I give you mercy.
You know, I'm in a Z Nation Facebook group, and it has a lot of the people who actually work behind the scenes on Z Nation or in this Facebook group. If anybody's interested in joining that group, let me know. I'll find it and I'll post it down in the actual comments section of this video after the video. Yeah, so you guys can see what that is and you know, get invited. But what somebody posted in there, you know, what do you think of a Walking Dead Z Nation crossover? And I'm like, okay, it would have to happen on Syfy channel because AMC's never going to do it.
No.
But I think it would really work best if it was kind of like Shaun of the Dead, where they just meet in passing, and like, you know, Daryl walks past 10K and and Warren walks past Rick, and then just like, hey, and that's really the only way I think it would work.
It would just be like 5-10 second clip.
Yeah, and it would be a really funny moment in the show, but that's really the only way I think it would work.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna go on to Channel Zero Season 2 premiere. Channel Z, is it called?
No. He
That's what the title was. Okay.
Yeah, the Channel Zero Z Nation crossover.
I'm so behind on AM. America. Go ahead, spoilers don't bother me other than Game of Thrones.
As long as you're aware, we're cool.
Okay. Okay, Aftermath. We're up to episode 7 of Aftermath. So if you're not totally caught up, if you haven't seen season 1, episode 7 of Aftermath, it's titled What the Thunder Said. Turn the video off, mute the video, whatever you got to do. If you want to avoid any spoilers, they're going to start right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so up until now, we love Aftermath. It's a super fun show. It's a post-apocalyptic adventure.
Yeah.
And I think
it's all the apocalypse. Every single apocalypse ever written by man, they're all happening simultaneously.
Yeah. So it's very campy. It gets silly at moments. There are times when you're like, wow, they really reached right there. But that for us is part of the fun.
Yeah. Like that's how the show is. Like, you know that going in after the first episode, you know that it's going to be a little ridiculous. And it's the Syfy channel. Most Syfy channels are a little bit ridiculous.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we like about it.
Yeah. So I think because I see a lot of I see a lot of opinions in the comment section that conflict with our opinion of the show. Yeah. Sorry, that was really rude. I'm drinking soda. I can't help it. I see a lot of in the comments, people don't think as highly of Aftermath as we do, at least in our comment section. Going on Twitter and seeing some of the interactions there, it does definitely have a very dedicated following.
Yeah.
But it was like episode 3, they introduced the Quetzalcoatl or something like that. It's the Mayan god of wind and wisdom.
Yeah.
And they introduced, and it looks kind of like a feathered dragon.
Yeah, it looks like a dragon kind of.
Yeah. So at that moment, I think a lot of people went, okay, that's too much. It's too silly. We went, oh my God, they're doing dragons?
Yeah, we were excited. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. So, and we were excited not because, oh my God, it's dragons and they can do whatever they want. This is just a silly show. We got excited because we knew that we were going to get an explanation for this, that eventually we would get an explanation for this and what it was. I'm still waiting for Josh's explanation on the show.
My explanation? Oh, no. Josh Copeland. Sorry. One of the main characters, Josh Copeland, so when talking about Aftermath and she says Josh, I think she's talking about me.
No. Josh, on the show, Josh. Because he hasn't given an explanation, but they did title an episode that, or no, it was a description of the episode, gave us the name, and we researched it ourselves. Yeah. And I think that's part of the fun, too, is seeing it and be like, ooh, let me research that and see what that is.
Yeah. Okay, so What the Thunder Said, episode 7 of Aftermath. It was the first episode this season that really didn't land for us. And it's because of just a couple of things in this episode. The big one was near the end when Josh and Matt and Dana and Brianna came across these 2 hikers. And Martin was there too. And then the hikers, because they didn't want to go with the Copelands into the bunker to get away from the volcano, they took Dana hostage and they killed Martin. And then Matt was straight up gonna hang the girl who killed Martin. And I'm like, yeah, hang her.
Straight, yeah.
I'm like, yeah, Matt. Like, I haven't liked Matt all season. I'm going, yeah, get her. But then Josh talks him down, and they're like, just run. You can't go into the bunker with us. Just run. Problem with that is because he's talking to Matt, and he's like, well, we'll let him drown in the lava. Okay. The problem with that is Karen Copeland and the soldier who was with her and Monk, they went up the volcano to access the prayer wheel to stop the volcano.
Yeah. It kind of gets a little weird because they don't actually say that they're going up there to stop it. The monk says that the prayer wheel will grant you a wish. Mm-hmm. So we just assumed it would stop the volcano. And then afterwards we were talking, we're like, well, I mean, I guess technically she could ask that her family survived the volcano and they all just magically appear
They poof,
somewhere
yeah.
else. Yeah. So like, I guess technically didn't have to, but Josh can't know that. So there's no guarantee these people are going to get justice. I'm sorry. You know, this is anarchy, or no, sorry, scratch that. That's the wrong word. This is the apocalypse, and there is no government anymore. There is no judge and jury. This person just killed somebody in front of you in cold blood. She needs to die.
He killed one of your, no, she did.
Yeah,
she killed one of your people who was a vital part of the group. As much as I really did not like Martin because he's a freaking pedophile,
yes,
he was still
a part of the group.
An important part of the group.
Yeah.
He was one of the most capable members of the group. I'm fine that he's dead. I'm glad that that character is dead.
I'm very glad that character is dead.
But I also think that not getting justice for that, it was
a big mistake.
And the logic behind it, we'll let them drown in the lava.
Yeah.
And
especially this coming right after he killed the people in the store
in the grocery store,
yeah. Like,
he poisoned them.
Yeah, it didn't work. You just killed these people because you knew they weren't going to let you go. Well, these two just killed somebody right in front of you. You think if they survive, they're not going to do that again? They are. Like, it might not be your family, but it might. You're still there in the bunkers. You have to leave eventually. Like, it didn't really fit.
Right.
And then our second big problem with this episode.
I forget what the other one was.
It's
well, it was Dana and Martin.
Dana and Martin.
Yeah.
We have not really liked this story point at all because Dana's 16-ish.
Yeah.
Like, it kind of says that she's 15, but they're almost 16. We don't know how much time has really passed. So she's basically 16. And we did find out that Martin is 28.
Yeah.
And apocalypse or not, like, it feels like it's not been that long since this apocalypse stuff has started. So it has not been long enough for the parents and for the people involved, mainly Martin, to suddenly be okay with this type of age gap. Like, 3-4 years into the apocalypse, 28 and 16 might not be that big a deal.
Yeah.
But first week of the apocalypse, yeah, it's still frowned upon. It just felt wrong, and just, I don't know, we didn't care for it, and it was featured heavily in this episode.
Yeah, in the last 2 episodes, really, is that they've really kind of focused on the Dana Martin relationship, and I felt dirty watching that relationship develop.
Gross.
And what's funny is when I tweeted about this live stream, the guy who played Martin liked the tweet. So, like, if he's here watching, sorry, dude, I hated your character.
Yeah.
But
and he looks young enough. They could have made him younger.
Yeah.
I mean, had they made him 20, that's a difference.
It's
still not good, but I can understand a 20-year-old being interested in an extremely intelligent 16-year-old. That at least makes some sort of sense.
Yeah.
28 and 16 is almost two completely different types of people, regardless of how incredibly intelligent the 16-year-old is.
Like, if I was 28 years old and I was talking to a 16-year-old girl and I went, oh, how old? I thought she was interesting and smart and cute. And I went, oh, how old are you? And she said 16. I'd be like, oh, gross.
Yeah, like, nope, shutting this down.
And any kind of thought I might have had would have just gone away.
Yeah.
The fact that it didn't for Martin, to me, just says he's a pedophile.
Yeah, it just really didn't work for us.
Yeah, and not on any level did it work.
No, we did not like that storyline at all, and that's kind of one of the downfalls of this episode. It was heavily featured, and then we also had the 2 people who should have died. So, like, the combination of the 2 made this episode kind of flat for us.
Yeah, those 2 things really just tanked it all the way around. Although I liked Monk.
Monk
was
I was
awesome.
just gonna say Monk was freaking awesome. I really, really liked Monk. He works perfectly for the show.
Mm-hmm.
I like that he was very think of the most stereotypical Buddhist you can, and that was Monk.
Yeah.
Like, if you have a stereotype of that in your mind, that was Monk.
Yeah.
He was very nonchalant, very peaceful, he just didn't get disturbed about things. Like, people are shooting all around him, and he just stands there like, oh, well, God will protect me, or the forces will protect me. I'm not supposed to die right now.
and he was a Tibetan monk who had died at some point. We don't know when.
He doesn't know when.
we have no idea when Monk died. We don't know if it was in the apocalypse. We don't know if it was 200 years ago.
Or two. Oh yeah.
Like, so I get the feeling because he had very supernatural abilities, like he exploded a sniper with his mind.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, that he's obviously some kind of supernatural being, which makes me think he might be an ancient being.
Yeah.
And also after he got shot and then he jumped up and he was okay again, and then Karen's kind of just in La La Land for a second, and then he just disappears. He's clearly some kind of supernatural being.
Yeah.
But I love that character, and I have a sneaking suspicion we might see some version of him in the future.
Yes.
Because the Monk, he inhabits of people who have died? Is that how it goes? That's the vibe I got, was the person.
Yeah, like that's kind of like how he explained it. He didn't say that he's in a dead person's body, but like how he explained it gave me the impression when somebody dies, as soon as they die, he can then take possession of their body for a short time or for however long.
Yeah. So I have a feeling we might get an iteration of Monk, and I'm excited for that.
Yeah, me too. I also really liked Karen in this episode.
She's a great
yeah, like I liked that despite the fact that she didn't believe in the prayer wheel thing, she still went up there with Monk because he healed Josh's gunshot wound. Like that, you can't not see that. Like that was obviously something above, and so she was willing to, since Josh was so adamant about it, she was willing to put her faith in him that this was going to work.
And then I guess this is a single-use prayer wheel, because the soldier who was with them jumped the gun and got in the prayer wheel, and she died because she wasn't pure of heart or something.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I kind of got the impression that it's be careful what you wish for, because she wanted to be with her son, and her son was dead, so she died.
So yeah,
like it's almost like be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, like it's a genie. You got to be really specific with your wish, because it could backfire. That's interesting. It wasn't necessarily that she was impure of heart, because I think wanting to reunite with your dead child, that's a pretty pure thing.
That's pretty pure. Yeah, I know. I think it was more of be careful of how you word it. And Monk tried to warn her, saying you're not going to get the result you think you are.
Yeah. So reviving the dead, the prayer wheel couldn't do.
Yeah.
But possibly stopping a volcano or something like that.
Yeah. Just saying, like, I don't know if it was going to stop the volcano. I actually have a sneaking suspicion it was not going to stop the volcano. I think it was just going to protect her family from the volcano in some way, whether they were just surrounded by some sort of energy that kept them from burning alive or transported away to safety, something.
AJ, this show is absolutely
it's completely insane. That's one of the things we really, really like about it. It's just kind of, you can just turn your brain off for a while and just enjoy the ride.
And that's also one of the things, or the main thing, that a lot of people don't like about Aftermath.
Yeah, is you really can't think too critically about it. Yeah. It's out there. It's really out there. We just really, really like it.
We like out there.
Yeah.
Like a lot. Yeah. Okay, let's see. What else about Aftermath?
I think that was it.
Yeah, I think that was the main. Well, see, at the end of the episode, Karen is trying to the volcano is full-on erupting, and she's outrunning the dust cloud. At the end of the episode, like she's running down the volcano, and the dust cloud is right behind her.
And I kind of I feel like she didn't actually have to go into the prayer wheel. The fact that she went on the journey with Monk to find the prayer wheel, that was what was important, not actually standing in the prayer wheel and making the prayer. So I think she is going to be saved. Yeah,
and we keep mentioning, I mean, the thing you think about when you think of a prayer wheel is the cylindrical wheel that you spin and then you pray. This prayer wheel was like flowers designed in the shape of a wheel.
Yeah.
So it was not your typical idea of what a prayer wheel is, and it caught Karen off guard in the episode.
Yeah, she assumed it was something she could hold in her hand.
Yeah, and typically a prayer wheel is. It's like on a pillar and it's cylindrical and you spin it. And the title of that episode was "What the Thunder Said." There was no voices in the thunder.
No.
In that episode.
But maybe Monk was the thunder.
Maybe that could be.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I'm excited to see, more than anything, for the next episode is how Karen survives. I want to see that explanation.
Yes.
They can do a lot of the things like the um, Taylor Hickson, who plays Brianna in this episode or in the show. We've tweeted with her a few times, and she calls the Quetzalcoatl the Mayan god of wind and wisdom. She calls it a Q-bird because it's an impossible name to pronounce.
Yeah, Quetzalcoatl. Come on.
But I'm wondering if the Q-bird is going to save Karen.
Oh yeah,
because it does look.
they're in the bunkers, so they're good in those bunkers. It's just Karen, but yeah, she could save Karen because Karen's important.
I think in the promo it showed the Q-bird. It might have. It looked like there was a big freaking pterodactyl looking monster, and that's the Q-bird. Yeah, I think so. So I wonder if she's gonna save it. And in this show, that we could legit spend 3 hours talking about it.
Probably
just everything if we went episode by episode.
Yeah. All right, so John Alexander says, with all the apocalyptic shows, how do you guys think you would do in those worlds? Could you get all Rick Grimes if needed?
Well, it depends on which one.
Yeah, it does depend on which apocalyptic show. The thing is in your mind, you think you could become Rick Grimes if you needed to, but you don't really know until you're put in that situation. Like, I like to think that if it came down to me or a loved one's life or somebody else, I could kill that person, but I don't know because I've never been in that situation.
I think if we're talking just like Anna and I in a typical zombie apocalypse situation where they don't run, they shamble, I think we would be okay for a couple of months at least.
At least, yeah. I think we would do okay in the zombie apocalypse. I think we're smart enough, and I think we know the long-term goals that a lot of people don't think of. Like, just getting food and water is not going to help. You need long-term goals. And I'm also like curious about science stuff, so I would be like setting up a distillery to distill the water, that type of distillery.
and at any time
and like growing food
and anytime we drive anywhere, we're like, that would be a good place to write out the zombie apocalypse.
Like we totally check out like places like, okay, if a zombie apocalypse happens, what are we gonna have? Like, there is a like farmers market farm type area just like around the corner, not too far from us, and it's all fenced in. Now it's chain link, so that's not exactly ideal, but they've already got gardens going. That would be a great place to go. Fortify the fences. You already have gardens started, so you just have to maintain them. And you don't have to wait that initial time for the food to start growing.
But if we're talking about running zombies, we're fucked.
Yeah, because we especially right now, we are so not very physical right now.
No.
We have not been to the gym in many, many months.
One of the downfalls of YouTube is the free time to spend working out and staying in shape and cooking a good meal. There's just not that much time left. Then like disappointing stuff like chicken just doesn't taste very good right now, at least in our area. Like, it's got a weird rubbery texture. Like, how are you supposed to cook yourself a healthy, nice meal when all the chicken sucks? I'm wondering, now that we're talking about this, we got on the subject of chicken, how is the quality of chicken where you guys are? Because
it sucks here, like really bad, and we like chicken.
So we go to, say, Publix or Target or wherever.
Any grocery store and buy chicken. And
it doesn't matter which one we buy it from, it's very rubbery. And
it has like zero flavor.
Like no matter how much salt you put on it, it has no flavor.
So,
how's the chicken where you guys are?
Totally off
topic. Let's see. William DeMarco says, I would go all Rick Grimes. However, I'm not entirely sure if I would go crazy dark. But hey, who knows? Exactly.
Exactly. You don't know until you're put there. And you don't know until stuff happens. Like, what would you become if every single loved one that you know, like, say you are at Rick Grimes level, but then every person you love is slaughtered in front of you by somebody, and you kill that person out of revenge. Are you the same person? Probably not. Would you go dark? Maybe you become the person you just killed. Like, you don't know. Psychology is very complex.
See, John Alexander, it's okay, but he only buys organic.
We've actually done that because we have Publix has a brand called Greenwise, and they're all organic, like chicken, and it's the exact one thing. It's just not good.
Maybe it's just local here where
maybe
the
Florida
stores
chickens just suck.
Maybe. One of the things that bothers me about specifically zombie apocalypse shows, and it's one of the few things that World War Z, the film, got right, is the scene where Brad Pitt he's like duct taping phone books around his forearms, so he has like makeshift armor. I'm like, why aren't people in The Walking Dead doing that?
Yeah, dude, seriously, like even just magazines, because phone books are a little bulky, but like magazines, yeah.
Yeah. So that would be one of the things I would do. I'd be on the lookout for duct tape and magazines to make armor out of.
Yeah. I need to make an armor cosplay, and then we could just grab that. I mean, it's foam, but it's still better padding than not having anything.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah. Yes, John. Oh my gosh. Yes. They're pre-cooked for the, like, it's like they completely thaw in the freezer truck because Florida heat is so intense it unfreezes the freezer truck.
Yeah. It thaws. It thaws the
yes,
freezer truck.
Yes, it thaws. Shut up. Unfreezes.
It dethaws. And Anna has a big problem with the antonym of freeze.
Yeah, like I always say, like if I put chicken from the freezer into the sink so it can thaw, for some reason my brain tells me I need to say it's de-thawing. I don't know why. I know that, like, as soon as I say it, I'm like, no, that's not what it does. It's what a freezer does technically.
Yeah, freezer de-thaws. Oh my God, my wife was on Fox News. She is in New York City today, and she was at Trump Tower watching the protesters, and she got filmed.
Nice.
So
nice.
she's protest watching, huh? You know, we didn't go by Trump Tower at all when we were in New York.
Yeah, zero interest.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like a really major landmark, but we just didn't get a chance to go by there. You know what? I love chicken too.
Yeah.
It's just the chicken here.
When we go out to eat, like if we go to a restaurant or if we order out, we always order chicken because it's the only time it's actually palatable. Palatable.
Yeah.
Ugh.
She's had like 4 glasses of wine.
This is my first glass of wine. Oh my gosh.
All right, so we got super off topic.
Yes, super off topic.
Let's move on. Let's talk about Z Nation since it's going on right now.
Yeah.
What I love Z Nation. It's one of my favorite shows on television, but I feel like season 3 hasn't really met the quality of seasons 1 and 2.
Yeah, like 1 and 2 were so good, and season 3 has kind of been up and down.
Yeah. Last night's episode was really
oh my God,
good.
It was phenomenal.
Best episode of this season for sure.
Yeah, definitely. It was absolutely amazing. Like, I loved it.
I especially liked the scene where, again, if you're not totally caught up on Z Nation, I think it's episode, I don't even know what episode is it.
I don't know.
The episode was called Heart of Darkness. I don't know what number it was. So if you want to avoid any Z Nation spoilers, you know what to do.
You didn't watch Z Nation last night. Don't watch.
Yeah. But the scene where Hector chokes out Warren so that she won't have to kill Vasquez and deal with that guilt. And then she ends up having to kill him anyway.
Yeah.
That was really rough.
Yeah.
And because they didn't really explore the Warren Vasquez romance that much. It was just kind of implied that there was feelings there.
Yeah.
And then that she had to kill him. That was rough.
Yeah. And that was really deep for Z Nation. Z Nation is mostly lighthearted and fun. They do have their deep moments, and this was one of them. And it was amazing.
Yeah. The hands. Somebody in our comment section says they don't need to explain anything in Z Nation, but the thing is, they usually do.
Yeah, they usually do, and it doesn't matter what the explanation is. Sometimes it's stupid. It doesn't even make sense, but it doesn't matter. It's an explanation.
Yeah.
It don't matter.
The fact that you said, "Hey, there's zombie hands just running like Addams Family thing running up the walls," and I'm like, okay, that's a neat idea. I want to know the Z Nation explanation.
Yeah, that's exactly. We don't need a logical explanation for that. We need the Z Nation explanation for that.
Yeah, well, and it's not something we need.
Yeah,
it's just something I would like
to
see what it is, because I have a feeling it's going to be so far out there that it'll be just fun and funny.
Oh my gosh, Julio! Congratulations.
Oh wow! Oh, that's right. You know what? He invited us to his wedding in our Q&A.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. Oh my gosh.
Wow, that's awesome, man.
Congrats! I hope you had a great honeymoon.
Yeah. Where did you go?
Yeah.
We would love to know where you went on your honeymoon, Julio.
Yes.
Oh, and he's leaving again. Bye.
Bye.
So what else in last night's episode of Z Nation? 10K apparently he ran off, and I figured he was just running to get away from Warren in the gang, but apparently he ran back to Murphy, or he got caught by Murphy because he's locked up, and now he's doing kind of grunt work for Murphy.
Yeah.
I don't really like 10K's story this season.
No, like I'm still mad that he got bit. I don't like that story at all, and they need to fix that like post haste.
That pronto, you need to get on that.
Yes.
Wow, big yawn, Kitty. 10K is easily my favorite character in the show, followed by Addie, followed by Doc.
And mine's Addie, then 10K, then Doc.
Yeah. But the way they're going this season with 10K, I really don't care for it. Our cat's being super lazy.
There you go.
There we go. We have a kitty.
See, kitty cat.
This is our kitty. So how do you guys feel about 10K's story this season?
Yeah.
AJ says he was crying a bit during the Vasquez and Warren scene where he finally realizes that it's her and he is dying. I was wondering. I was wondering about that scene. Was he putting on the entire time? Did he know? Was he really cracking, and did he develop kind of a dual personality, or was he just kind of playing the part that whole time?
Yeah.
I will say this. Vasquez either being a Scorpion or pretending to be a Scorpion, he did a great job. Like the syntax and the pacing of his speech, he did a fantastic job. Like he legit sounded when he talked like a Scorpion. Yeah. And that was awesome.
Yeah, it was. Right. AJ says, I hated that Addie and Doc so-called cliffhanger at the end of the episode. Us too. And it's not, like, we actually were super freaking excited for the next episode. It looks amazing. But it was just weird. Like, why did we have 5 seconds of them arriving and then snap back to Hector coming alive again? Like, that was just weird. It didn't fit.
It felt very out of place. Yeah. I don't know, as far as the structure of the episode, I don't know why they would do that. It just didn't really make any sense.
Yeah, it just, like the preview for the next episode accomplished that. Like, it was just weird.
And next week looks like it's going to be a really good
oh my
episode.
God, was it Lucy?
Lucy, yeah.
Oh my God, Lucy looks so cute. Like, if we had a daughter, she would be cosplaying Lucy. Like, she didn't even get a choice in this. She would be.
10K stopped counting. How will he keep track of his kills? You know what? I bet he's counting on some level, even if it's subconsciously, he is counting.
I agree. I think he is counting subconsciously. He just can't out loud.
Yeah. As soon as, I hope he gets cured. If they kill 10K off, I'm going to be so mad. Yeah. And the thing is, you can kill 10K off. He just has to reach 10,000 first. Yes, exactly. And then you can totally kill him off. But if they kill him off at 9,999, I will legit stop watching the show.
Yeah, I'm pretty mad.
Now, if he gets to 9,999 and he kills the Z and the Z kills him and it's bang bang, I'm fine with that. Do it.
Yeah, sure. As long as he gets to 10,000.
Yeah. So how would you guys feel if 10K died before reaching his goal?
Really, Kitty?
My goodness, Kitty Cat. Would you not be happy, Kitty Cat? And then she said no. I don't know if you heard it. She said no. I wouldn't be happy.
Say hi.
This was our kitty that was sick a couple weeks ago.
She was the one that had a UTI.
Yeah.
She's all better now.
Yep. William Marcus is all cute kitty.
We just bought her a whole bunch of new toys, and I bought her a food puzzle because, like, it seems like she's bored and they can't figure it out. Either they're stupid and they can't figure it out, or they're really, really smart and they're playing us. I'm really not sure which one it is.
It's a food puzzle. It's like a tree, and like each level has holes where they can reach in, and if they just move the food a little bit, it'll fall down into the dish. They don't even have to move it very far, and it's just they're just like, I don't know how to do it. She's so weird. Okay, AJ says, I love 10K. It broke my heart last season when he had to kill Cassandra. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And now he has ruined his character this season. Murphy has become one of my least favorite characters.
Yeah, like, I really don't like Murphy. Like, you never really like Murphy, but I never disliked him, and I dislike Murphy this season. Like, I'm so over him.
The thing about Murphy is when they paired him up with Doc, he was a really fun character. And now that they've got him on his own, he has no redeeming qualities.
No.
And that was one of the things that Z Nation did really, really well for a long time. They took this despicable character and gave him a few redeeming qualities depending on who he was paired with.
Yeah.
And now that he's on his own, he's just awful.
Yeah, he's lost all of them.
Yeah. And
I also, this season, I really miss Citizen Z. I feel like we don't have enough of him.
yeah.
Like,
I don't know if
they've cut him way back, and I miss Citizen Z. I want to know more.
like I think they went a few episodes last season with no Citizen Z, but this season it really seems like he's not getting very much screen time at all. And I wonder if DJ Qualls has another project that he's working on, so they had to
maybe
restrict his screen time. Kaya, I like Kaya a lot.
I love Kaya. Oh my god, yeah, I really like her.
Yeah,
and I like that Citizen Z has somebody because he's up there in the Arctic. He's not getting to Operation Bite Mark ever. So it's nice that he finally has some companionship.
And I like that Kaya is jealous of Addie. I'm waiting for Addie to get jealous of Kaya.
Yeah,
like I want that going on. I think that'll be really fun. Let's see. Gosh, I'm trying to think what else. It was just on the tip of my brain, and now it's gone. Shoot.
John says Murphy is a total tool this year. Might have missed it, but did they explain why he is turning more human looking?
They haven't mentioned it yet. I think it's eating the brains.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's because he's eating brains. It's making him look more human.
It's eating brains is I think that the turning blue, I think it's their way of showing that he's decaying.
Yeah, like he's dying slowly because he's not getting nutrition.
And the brains are like regenerating. His body. So I think that's what it is. And they haven't mentioned anything about that at all. That's just something that we've put together ourselves. If they have mentioned it, we've completely missed it. Addie and Mac are old news. Now time for Addie versus Kaya. Hells yeah, AJ.
That'll be fun. Yeah.
That was the thing I wanted to mention. It has been a long time since we've had a character death in this show. And it looked like we were going to get one with Hector.
Yeah.
But then his eyes popped open and it's like, ooh, are we not getting character death? Or is he some kind of different Z? Because his eyes were like shining silver. And I don't remember any kind of previous Z with eyes like that.
So we're, if you watched our video, we're kind of on a toss-up. Is he next week's Z of the week? Or is he cured and that's just a side effect?
Yeah. Or... yeah, I think that was it.
Yeah.
I'm glad he is dying. I care less about the human race as long as one of the gangs survive.
I don't think they need him anymore.
No.
Like, I think the fact that they have the original cure that he got, and they're getting Lucy, I think that's enough. They can get rid of Murphy. And if that's the way they go, I'm totally happy with that.
I would be totally fine if they killed off Murphy and then Lucy became the package that they had to get to some secret location
because she's growing abnormally fast. She's maturing very, very quickly. So that would be really cool because like it'd almost be like a new Lucy every week.
I feel like they're also underutilizing the man. He was kind of built up to be this borderline super villain in the season premiere, and we've only gotten him a couple of times.
He's been very underwhelming compared to the first episode.
Like the episode where he infiltrated Murphy's compound, that was a really, really good episode. And I loved his scenes in that. But I mean, we've seen him, including the premiere, 3 times, I think.
I think.
So I want more of the man.
Like if you're gonna build him up in the season premiere as being like this year's villain, you kind of need to have him in the show. Just a little bit.
It would be like if they built up, Negan all season and then only showed him for 10 minutes at the end of an episode. I mean, that would just be crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm looking at you, season 6. I thought he does look like a cyborg, John Alexander. He has such a unique look. He was actually in Star Trek Into Darkness or maybe Star Trek 2009. I can't remember which one. But yeah, he basically, all they did was throw some contacts on him and made him an alien. So they didn't give him any other makeup. But he has a very unique look. It would be awesome if Hector's zombie was carrying Vasquez's head. That would be amazing.
It just goes around carrying it.
Yeah, like
Like
that's
the
his
Headless
weapon.
Horseman.
I'm trying to think of what other things are going on with Z Nation. Do you guys have anything specific you want to talk about from this season of Z Nation? We'll open it up to the chat to see which direction this conversation goes. And if we don't get anything, maybe we'll move on to what we're looking forward to from Syfy next year.
Yes. Ooh, hiccup.
Oh, a wine hiccup.
Yeah.
Yee. I can smell the wine from here. I feel like if they had to kill off someone in Z Nation right now with Kaya, Dr. Sun, the Blend Army, Lucy, and clear the air. Yeah, definitely.
We do need a death. Like, we haven't had one in a while. Even if it's just like a not super major character. Like, we need something.
I feel like, okay, I don't like Dr. Sun at all because the performance there is the worst in the show.
Yeah.
I feel like every time she speaks, she's reading it off of cue cards.
Yeah, like, it's just, yeah. I totally agree.
The performance there is really not very good. AJ says, do you think we'll see Red and 5K? I hope we do.
Red, I don't know. I kind of feel like she's dead. But 5K, no, we need to see 5K by the end of the season. Like, even if it's at the season finale, just a little teaser, and he's going to be in next season, I don't care. We need to see 5K. Like, I freaking loved 5K.
They left Red's death very ambiguous. She charged head on into a herd of zombies.
Yeah.
So the assumption, and it's a justifiable assumption, is that she died there. And plus, she was a romantic interest for 10K.
Yeah, and they always die.
Yeah, so I don't know if we'll ever see Red again. I wouldn't mind it if we did.
I loved Red.
If they could give us some kind of, Z Nation plausible
explanation for why she didn't die.
Yeah, 5K and Lucy ship.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know if having two children in Z Nation simultaneously.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, if they tease her in the season finale or tease him in the season finale and he's in next year's, it could work because Lucy is aging fast.
Yeah.
So Lucy would be like a teenager by next season. So like that would work. Yeah, having two kids, not so much. But if they tease him and then he comes in next season, that would be really, really cool.
I don't particularly care for children on television or film because they're really hard to write for without making them obnoxious. That's the main thing. It has nothing to do with performances. I mean, just look at Stranger Things. I mean, the performances are there and the writing is really good. But writing for kids is super hard. Yeah. And most writers can't do it.
Yeah, there are, like you said, there's some exceptions. Stranger Things.
Yeah.
The kids on freaking Channel Zero are creepy as shit. Like, that's some great writing. What else did we watch recently that had some creepy kids in it?
Well,
where we were like, little girls are just creepy.
Oh man, what was that?
Yeah, like I think that was in one of our reviews.
I think it was Channel Zero. Actually,
it might have been Channel Zero.
I think it was Channel Zero.
Girls are just so creepy.
Yeah. But they are a little girl laughing. Like if you can't see her right in front of you laughing, it's the creepiest sound ever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, dude, like a child's laugh is scary. It's if you can't see the kid laughing. Do you think Murphytown could fall in the upcoming episode? I think it falls by the end of the season.
Yeah, I don't think by the next episode, because they just got Lucy. I feel like they're gonna play that out a little bit, but by the end of the season, yeah.
I don't think we got to see the entire promo for next week. But is next week all Lucy at the in the woods at the cabin?
Yeah, that's all we saw from the promo, which
so I don't know if we'll get
Doc and Lucy.
I don't think we'll get any of Murphytown.
Yeah.
John Alexander says even in Stranger Things, it was awkward at times, especially the kiss.
Yeah, but you know what though? In their defense, a kiss between two 12-year-olds is awkward. Yeah. So, like, I don't think it was bad writing. I think it was accurate writing. That's how a kiss between two 12-year-olds typically goes. It's just really awkward.
Yeah. Plus, it was both of their real-life first kiss.
Yeah.
There's no way that wasn't going to be awkward.
Exactly.
We have a terrible kitty right now.
Yes, we do. It's ours, you know? Come here. Come here.
No, you lazy. Lazy kitty.
Oh my God, you're so fat. Oh.
She's getting into stuff, so she's got to join us up here. She's in timeout right now.
Yep, you're in timeout.
So what else should we talk about?
Yeah, any other sci-fi nerdiness?
Well,
We're going to talk about
next year.
Yeah,
Next year.
upcoming.
So I think we've covered everything for imagine the Man and 10K team up. Dude, they would be a force.
Yeah.
They would go just coast to coast, back and forth, wiping out all the Z's, and then everything would be copacetic.
Yeah.
They both team up, burn down Murphytown. Warren comes in with the Red Hand Army, and yes, Warren and the Red Hand Army.
Yes.
Warren's got herself an army. I see the entire Red Hand Army dying, and Warren succeeding. Like they all die, and then it's just the group.
Yeah. They like to do that.
Yeah.
Where like they're with a group and like everybody dies and they make it out and they're like, well.
Yeah.
that would be really good.
Just carnage follows them wherever they go. Yeah. All right, let's go on to what
we're excited for sci-fi coming up.
So The Expanse, which we've talked about just a tiny bit so far, is coming back up in February. Season 2 premieres. And
The Expanse, man. It's Game of Thrones in space.
Yes.
I'm not even kidding you. It is amazing. It's based on a book series. The book series is freaking amazing. I've read most of the books, not all of them, but most of them. And it's so good. One
of the things they're doing that Game of Thrones hasn't done, Game of Thrones, generally speaking, one book is one season of the show.
Yeah.
Not exactly. It doesn't line up perfectly that way.
But basically.
Pretty much.
Basically, one book, one season.
Now, the first season of The Expanse was about the first half of the first book.
Yeah.
So they can keep going with, and it doesn't look like the show will catch up to the books the way it has happened with Game of Thrones,
no, there's
which is fantastic.
Like 6 or 7 books out already, I think, and like I said, like half of a book is a season approximately. Now, like there's stuff from book 2 that is in the first season because they have to do it all together to make it work, but it's amazing.
Yes. The first book is called Leviathan Wakes.
Yeah, Leviathan Wakes.
And it's by a pair of authors. James S.A. Corey, I think it's one author.
Is it James S.S. Corey?
I think it's is it S.A. or S.S.? Sorry if the computer shakes. I'm looking stuff up real fast.
And it's a really, really good book. I've read 3 or 4 of the books in the series, and it's similar to The Walking Dead in that essay. It's similar to The Walking Dead in that just because you've read the books doesn't necessarily mean you're going to know what's going to happen in the show, because they do take some licenses. But it's so good. The Expanse, if you can watch season 1, I don't know where it's available at.
I haven't seen it on Netflix.
Amazing. No, I haven't seen it on Netflix either, but I haven't looked for it. It was on demand on our cable provider. I don't know if it still is or not, but it was. The whole first season was on demand.
I don't know if you can hear it, but one of the cats just used the food tree. I heard food fall, and I'm like, they're using the food tree. But yeah, so Game of Thrones in space, that is a very rough approximation of what to think of it.
It's like Game of Thrones in that it's very political and there's different factions that are fighting for control.
Now, the interesting thing is James S.A. Corey, again, it's one name on the book as far as an author, but it's actually a duo. And I think one of them is George R.R. Martin's, the author of Game of Thrones, is his personal assistant or something like that. So George R.R. Martin has read this stuff and probably given notes. I'm assuming that's not out there as
it's not verified.
Yeah, that's not verified. I'm assuming that. I mean, if I was George's personal assistant and I had written a book, I would want notes from him.
Yeah, like, hey, how can I improve this?
So, they're so good. And season 1 is fantastic.
Season 1 is so good.
It's the kind of show that you really have to pay attention.
Yes.
You can't be messing around on your phone, and it's really beneficial if you watch all of season 1 and then watch it again.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be stuff, even if you're
if you're paying attention, there are stuff you miss.
You can be an eagle-eyed viewer and still miss something.
Yeah.
You can miss a very important line of dialogue or something happening in the background. There's a lot.
Like you could blink and miss something that flashed across the screen in the background that you catch the next time around that is actually really important. You're like,
yeah.
It's so good, so good.
So the general idea is there's these colonies. There's Earth, who's
You have
like
Earth, yeah, the mother
that's
planet.
where basically the wealthy people live. There's Mars, where the slightly less wealthy people live, and they're very militaristic. And then there's the asteroid belt.
Yeah, the colonies in the asteroid belt, and you have like certain asteroids big enough that they have built like cities inside the asteroid tunnels and stuff like that.
And they mine all kinds of stuff. They mine ice.
Yeah.
They mine, minerals and all this kind of stuff out.
Like the ice belt.
Yeah.
And then you also have Ganymede, which is one of Saturn's moons,
I think so.
that is colonized as well. And similar, it's all the city is underground. It's not actually out in the air because they can't.
Right.
But yeah, and it's very political in that, like, Mars is coming up. Earth is like the wealthy people. Mars, like, on Earth, you don't have to work unless you want to. Like, that's the type of wealth that Earth has. Mars is up and coming, and they are trying to, like, fight each other, and they're bringing in the colonies, and the colonies are mining water of all things, and yet they have issues with clean air and adequate water.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like the rich versus the poor, and some scientific studies gone awry.
Yeah.
It's absolutely incredible. If you have access to it, you should definitely check it out.
And there's somebody and I don't want to spoil it too much because it's but somebody's trying to start a war between these three factions.
Yeah.
And there's it's related to this, but like the first book is called Leviathan Wakes. There is this thing called the proto-molecule, which is, it's like a crystalline entity, little Star Trek reference there, Star Trek The Next Generation, that if it touches you, it just starts growing on you, and oh dude.
Yeah, it's scary.
It's really, really scary.
Yeah. And you also have a political rebel group faction that is almost its own government. It's gotten so big, so it's just a lot of stuff. It really is. It's Game of Thrones in space. It's all the war and the politics of Game of Thrones and the drama of Game of Thrones, except it takes place in space.
Yeah. So that is The Expanse.
Yes.
Wow. I mean, I feel like we've done a pretty good job of covering what exactly it's about.
Yes.
Without giving us big stuff away. Season 2 premieres in February, so if you get the chance to catch up on season 1, even if you have to buy it on DVD,
like, it's worth it.
Yeah,
it's
seriously,
totally
it's and I would say watch the whole season and then watch it again.
Yes.
Because it's really deep. We should have Rick Grimes in his Alexander Army versus Warren, and the Operation Firewire versus Jon Snow in his army.
Oh gosh.
Game of Thrones is one of the best shows in all of history of television. Yes. Yeah. It absolutely is.
Yeah. But it's got some competition these last couple years, though. Like, The Expanse is, I feel, competition to Game of Thrones, even if it doesn't have the viewership.
Here's the thing about The Expanse, and as far as competing with Game of Thrones, it's only one season into it. Game of Thrones is coming up on its 7th.
Yeah.
So if you were going to look on like the general iconicness,
yeah,
Game of Thrones beats it hands down.
But if you compare season 1 and season 1, it's right there with it. It's like neck and neck. Another one, the same thing. It's only on its first season, but Westworld. It's tough competition for Game of Thrones and The Expanse. Like, it is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and again, if you compare season 1 to season 1.
Yeah, season 1 to season 1, because you can't compare it to all of Game of Thrones, because Game of Thrones has a couple year advance on it.
Yeah. Let's see. How far are you guys in
American Horror Story?
American Story?
We are current, except we haven't seen this last week's episode.
Actually, Anna's current. I have not watched all of the seasons.
Yeah. I watched all of the seasons in their entirety. He's come in and seen bits and pieces of all of the seasons, but he hasn't seen them from start to finish. So, like, he missed a lot of season 1, which really isn't that big of a bummer because it wasn't that good. And he's caught bits and pieces of all the other seasons.
I want to watch all of Hotel, the stuff I saw in Hotel.
Hotel is freaking amazing.
The stuff I saw in Hotel, I really, really liked. The bits and pieces I saw of the other ones, I'm like, I could give or take. But Hotel looked amazing, and I'm loving this season.
Yeah, this season's really good. Yeah.
Let's see, we got a question. Can we just talk about a show that I think could compete with the what's the show, AJ?
Yeah, what's the show that you think could compete with The Walking Dead?
Yeah. There's a few of them actually right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, we're not exactly Walking Dead fan boys right now.
What do you think of this season? Here's the thing about this season. Because they're doing kind of a found footage thing as far as the second half of the season, we're going to do spoilers for American Horror Story now.
Horror Story. Spoilers.
Yeah. So
the first half of the season,
the documentary style,
phenomenal. We freaking loved the documentary style.
Yeah.
Like, and I like it because they do something different all the time, but it's still horror, so you can only do so many different types of stories. So this story is almost kind of a repeat of some of the other stories. But doing it documentary style makes a difference. So I love that.
And the supernatural documentary thing was really popular in the early 2000s, and this feels like kind of an ode to that. Like, I remember Haunting in Connecticut, I think, what was a documentary series for a while, and just the Blair Witch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But I like the documentary style in the first half, because it just felt like, okay, they're taking this genre that was super popular there for a while, and they're turning it into a fictional television show, and that's really, really cool.
Yeah. The second half, I'm still loving the story, but
shaky cam.
Yeah, the shaky cam. Like, as we've said numerous times, I get extreme motion sickness. So unfortunately, the second half, I can't even watch it most of the time. I have to just listen to it. So I feel like I miss a lot, and that really bugs me. I do like they have the cameras all throughout, so you do occasionally get a still camera, but a lot of them is the necklace cam or the cell phone camera, and it's very shaky, and I can't watch like a couple of seconds, and I have to look down and wait for it to stop.
Yeah. And I hate the British lady.
Oh my
I want her to die so much.
Yeah, we are like waiting and like hoping that she dies here soon, because we just can't stand her.
She's like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my. I'm like, dude, shut up. I understand you're scared, but she has one line through. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. That's literally her dialogue.
That's her entire dialogue.
And I get that this is literally the most terrifying situation anybody could ever be in. And I'm not saying that I would have the brain capacity to say anything other than, oh my god, oh my god.
But as a viewer, you hope she dies.
Watching it on television, it's super annoying, and I want her to die really bad.
Okay, so AJ responded to the show that will compete with The Walking Dead. I feel like once Preacher comes back, they're going to try to be the greatest show since The Walking Dead and Game of Thrones.
That's
maybe. But
Preacher
is so stylistically different from the two shows. It's almost hard to compare them. Like, we loved Preacher. The comics are so good if you haven't read the comics. And they're almost entirely different from the show. Like, it's a very, very different feel. But it's hard to compare it because it's so stylistically different. It's like comparing a rom-com with a horror.
Yeah.
Like, they're great in different ways.
I really, really like Preacher. I think I blanked on the guy who's playing Jesse Custer. I forgot his name, but he's doing a fantastic. Casting-wise, they've nailed every part.
Oh, yeah, they've nailed it.
Yeah. Yes. And the woman who plays Tulip is in a movie with Bane. God, I'm spacing on names tonight.
He's becoming me.
I am.
I'm terrible with names. Absolutely horrific.
She's in a movie with the guy who played Bane, and talking about racial marriage in like 1950s and 40s, the South, and that looks like it's going to be a really good movie. And just her I'm looking forward to seeing that. Just to see her performance, even. Yeah. Because she's got some acting chops.
Oh yeah, man, Tulip is an amazing character, and she's like nailed it. Because like when you read Tulip, you're like, nobody can do that and make it seem real. Like, she just doesn't seem like a believable character. Nah, she makes it believable. She is totally Tulip, and it works.
Arseface, Cassidy, Tulip, Jesse, and the other fantastic. Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
That's the other thing. I really hope we get Arseface out of hell fast next season.
Yeah, like I want him back. He's a
Oh, by the
great
way,
part.
spoilers
Yeah.
for Preacher.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry about that. Arseface is in hell.
Yeah, and the cowboy.
Yeah.
What's his
The
actual...
angels, or
No, the
oh,
guy,
the Saint of Killers.
Yeah, the Saint of Killers.
We've actually seen him at a bunch of cons. His name's Graham McTavish, and he was one of the dwarves in the Hobbit films.
Yeah.
So he's been in a ton of stuff here recently.
Yeah.
And he is Saint of Killers is an awesome character.
Yes.
AJ, I don't know if you've read the Preacher comics. You really should if you haven't. They're fantastic.
Yes.
They came out. Hang on, we've got them back here. I need a Preacher comic.
I'll look over here. You look over there.
Okay. Sorry, I want to show you just what the art looks like. I thought it was up high. Is it not? Oh, shoot.
Not.
Oh, shit. There. Okay. So, here is what the art looks like for the Preacher comics. So you can see it's not like modern day comic as far as the art. So if the art is going to be a problem, but let's find a good picture of Cassidy just so you can have a comparison. Well, here's an Arseface.
Yes.
There is Arseface
They
in
did
the
a
comic.
phenomenal job with Arseface, as you can tell.
And I'm going to see if I can find Cassidy now. There's a good one of Cassidy. So,
AJ has read the comics,
you have read the comics. Awesome.
All right, so if anybody else hasn't read the comics, because they're amazing, and it's like a totally different story.
I started reading the comics, the graphic novels, I don't know, probably 8 years ago, and the art was a little dated even then, a little bit, even though I think the comic was still running then. I don't think they actually finished yet. But I had a little hard time getting into it because of the art. It's not my ordinary taste in art, but just the quality of the story and the interesting characters and stuff, that made dealing with the art very easy.
Yeah.
I'll put this back so I'm not digging it out if I ever want to reread it. Okay, so I'm just a bit upset that they killed off all those characters like Sheriff Root, Emily, and Quincannon. Yeah, I would like seeing Quincannon stay around for a while.
Yeah. I
think he could have been a really great recurring villain for more than one season.
Yeah. There you go.
Terrible, terrible kitty. So what other shows? On the sci-fi topic, Dark Matter is renewed and Killjoys is renewed.
Dark Matter is amazing, absolutely amazing.
So if you're a fan of Dark Matter and you want any kind of update as far as the development for season 3, follow Joe Malozzi's blog. He has a WordPress blog, and he gives a lot of regular updates as far as where they are on like set construction and what episode they're currently working on and that kind of stuff. And it gives a really great insight into his creative process and how they do stuff. And so his blog is awesome. It's my opinion. Well, it's my favorite blog. Mm-hmm. So all right,
Bye,
AJ.
AJ.
Bye, AJ. And then Killjoys. Season 1 was okay. It was okay. Season 2 was fantastic.
Yeah, like season 1 was okay enough that we watched season 2.
Yeah, and season 2 was amazing. It was one of my favorite shows.
Dude, right, John? Like not too long ago, there was nothing on TV. It just sucked, and now it's like so much good TV. There is so much good TV out there right now.
And what's crazy is there's so much really, really good TV that good shows are getting canceled.
Yeah.
Like, okay, let's take a look at this is not a sci-fi show, obviously, but let's take a look at The Exorcist. The Exorcist is one of the best shows on television, and it is the best horror show on television right now.
Hands down.
And nobody's watching it.
Yeah.
It is crazy. Like, I checked the ratings on that, and I think the last time I looked, it only got like 2 million views in the live plus 24 rating overall. And it was like, it was really low in the key demographic, the 18 to 49 demographic. It was really low. I think it was lower than the average Syfy channel show. So it looks like The Exorcist is probably going to get canceled, which is a travesty because it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's fucking phenomenal. It's so good. It is, like you said, it's like the best horror show right now.
Yeah, like it. If you're a huge Channel Zero fan, my opinion, The Exorcist blows it out of the water.
Yeah, The Exorcist is, or Channel Zero is creepy. The Exorcist is terrifying.
Yeah. I read that The Sopranos showed that good TV could be profitable, so that's good. Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
And I remember when Heroes ended its first season, it was regarded as like this show with so much potential and so much quality, and it was going to be around forever. And then the writers' strike hit, and season 2 sucked ass. And then it went to season 4, and it just never recovered after the writer's strike. So I think for a long time, one of the reasons why there just wasn't very much good television on is because the aftermath of the writer's strike really kind of tanked the market for good writers. So John makes a really good point. The Sopranos showing that good TV could be profitable brought a lot of good writers to television. But if you're not watching The Exorcist, I do not want that show to get canceled.
Yes, so watch it.
Please watch it.
Please watch it.
Watch it and rewatch it, because we need to get those ratings up, because that is a fantastic show.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's so scary.
Yeah.
And the performances are all really, really good. There was a huge twist. Spoilers for The Exorcist. Okay, The Exorcist is a direct sequel to the film, which they did not. It's on Friday nights at 9 or 10.
Yeah.
So it's going to conflict with either Z Nation or Van Helsing.
Yeah.
So
like we record it and we watch it on Saturdays.
Yeah, that's what we do. We're part of the plus 24 ratings, because we can't watch it the night of.
Yeah.
But it is a direct sequel to The Exorcist. So spoilers here. The character Gina Davis plays, her character's name is Angela Rance. We find out in episode 5 or 6 that her real name is Reagan McNeil. She is Reagan from the film. She's Linda Blair's character. And the demon has been holding a 40-year grudge because he got exorcised. Well, he didn't get exorcised. He jumped into the priest, and the priest jumped out the window and died. So he's been holding this 40-year grudge. And he's gone after Reagan's daughter.
Yeah.
And dude, like I'm talking about it, and the hair on my arm is standing up. That is how just scary the show is.
So
and
creepy.
Just, oh my gosh, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Whew, okay. I feel like this went from like a general sci-fi discussion to let's talk about everything on television. So what else? I think that's it. Going back to Dark Matter for a second, according to Joe Malozzi in our comments section after we reviewed the season 2 finale, Rio is going to be the big villain for season 3, so that's going to be really excited. Outlander, no, we have not ever gotten to see Outlander.
I want to see Outlander, and I actually really want to read the books. I was looking up the books the other day at work to see if I could just download them to my Kindle.
My mom's obsessed with Outlander.
Yeah.
So that's really funny.
It looks really good.
Yeah, it does. It looks really, really good. I'm starting to go a little bit hoarse. So unless somebody has a topic they want to broach, we're going to start wrapping this stream up. I feel like there's something else that I wanted to talk about in this stream. It wasn't sci-fi related, and now I can't think of it. There are a ton of great shows on television right now.
Yes.
Everything the CW is doing right now as far as superheroes is really good. This season of Arrow is so much better than last season.
Yeah, so much better. Yeah, it's like they finally decided to stop being so serious, and it's really helped.
Yeah, it's helped a lot. The only thing I don't particularly care about on this season of Arrow, and a lot of people really like this character, so I'm sorry, I don't like Ragman.
Yeah.
I think last season doing the supernatural thing, it hurt last season, and Ragman is a continuation of that supernatural stuff. And I just don't like it. It doesn't fit with Arrow.
Yeah.
But that's the only thing I don't like. Everything else I really, really like about this season of Arrow. Flash is just consistently very, very good. And Supergirl is better on CW than it was on CBS.
Yeah, which is surprising, actually, because I thought Supergirl was really good on CBS, and CW is not exactly known for its great writing,
right?
But they've been doing a really killer job with Supergirl.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Hey, yeah, can't wait for Supergirl on Monday. Yes.
Yes.
I guess the big three-way crossover, Arrow, Flash, and Legends of Tomorrow is coming up soon. A new figure of Carl is coming out as a removable Bloody Guts poncho. Oh, cool.
Nice.
I thought you had to leave, AJ.
He's like, yeah, I did, but I had to tell you that first.
It's funny. She's being so bad. Cats aren't supposed to like tinfoil. Sorry about this sound, guys.
Yeah, sorry. I'm scaring the kitty.
Let's see, what else? We talked about the CW shows. Three-way crossover. The rumor was they were going to incorporate Supergirl into that trilogy, the Flash, Arrow, Legends of Tomorrow, and they were going to bring Supergirl into that canon. They haven't done it yet, and season's moving along at a pretty fast rate.
Yeah.
So I would like to see them do that. I hope they do that.
Yeah.
What other shows are we watching but not reviewing?
Oh my God.
I love Lethal Weapon on Fox.
I'm not watching that, though. It's
really fun. And that was one that I'm like, I don't know about this. The movies are so good. I don't think that the show can do it justice. But you know what? It does. It's really good. So if you're not watching Lethal Weapon, at least give it a shot. I'm really enjoying it anyway. Frequency, I haven't checked out yet.
Yeah,
I've seen
Timeline too as well. Like
we
have it DVR'd, but we haven't watched it yet. It's too much.
It looks like Timeless, I think it's called.
Timeless.
It looks like that's probably going to get canceled. At least that's what I read online the other night. Timeless isn't going to make it. It looks like The Exorcist probably isn't going to make it. I've seen in our comments section that they're like, Aftermath is going to get canceled, and I'm like, comparing it to the ratings of the other sites, the sci-fi shows, it's right in line with everything else.
Yeah.
So
there's nothing to show that it's going to get canceled.
Yeah, if I was going to do a projection right now, I would say Aftermath probably gets a season 2, which is fantastic.
Yes.
One movie you would recommend, sci-fi? Oh, you mean like a genre, sci-fi or horror, or a specific sci-fi or horror movie? Wood DeMarco says, I love Ragman. Don't get me wrong. He's really, really cool. I just don't like the supernatural element in Arrow.
Yeah, like I feel like that was a mistake last season, and kind of reminding of it this season's probably not a good idea.
If anything, Ragman should have his own show.
Yes.
I would watch the shit out of the Ragman show.
Yeah, Ragman should have his own show.
Yeah. So, do you mean a specific sci-fi or horror movie, or a specific movie? Okay. Oh man, right now it's Doctor Strange. If you haven't seen it.
Oh yeah, Doctor Strange was really, really good.
If there was any Marvel movie that they could have totally shit the bed on, it was Doctor Strange.
And they didn't.
And they did it, and they did it so good. They did it really, really well.
It was really, really good.
The Benjamin Cumberbatch was the perfect
Benedict.
What did I say?
Benjamin
Cumberbatch was the perfect Stephen Strange. And I was really on the fence on who they got to play the ancient one, Tilda Swinton.
She was fantastic.
She did a great job.
She sold me like in the first 5 minutes of the movie. Yeah. I was like, why do I have so much hair? I want to cosplay her.
Legends of Tomorrow is good. You should give it another chance. I watched the first episode and I liked it. Anna didn't like it, but I'm going to catch up.
I thought it was absolutely horrific.
I'm going to give it a shot. And that if you're doing cosplay tomorrow, I think I might just watch Legends of Tomorrow early tomorrow. I watched a lot of Doctor Who today. Doctor Who comes back Christmas Day.
Yes.
Any Whovians in the chat? We'll do a quick little Doctor Who thing and then we'll wrap it up. But I lost my train of thought right there.
Doctor Who comes back Christmas Day.
Yeah, but before that, Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
John Alexander says, yeah, he looks perfect, I thought. And he did.
Yeah.
The visually it looked great. Yeah, this is what I wanted to say. Here's a problem with, okay, here's the problem with origin stories as far as movies go. The first half of the movie typically is the origin, how you make your costume, how you get your abilities, all that kind of stuff. And it really tends to bog things down. The origin story for Doctor Strange kind of it doesn't flip it around, but it moves along at a rate that it's just like, oh my God, hurry up and get your powers already. The first 10 minutes is probably the best first 10 minutes in any Marvel movie. I will put it up against the first 10 minutes of any Marvel film out there and do a side-by-side comparison, and I think Doctor Strange will come out on top. The first 10 minutes was that good. And I think it's the best origin story out of the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. I think Doctor Strange has the best origin story. It's just as far as general execution and not bogging down the story and making the film almost boring by doing the origin, which is who since number 7 in the 70s when it was on PBS. You know what? Here's the thing. Here's what happened to me when I was a kid. When Doctor Who was on television. I was watching, I think it was Mystery Science Theater. It was a really even lower budget than Doctor Who, and I just could not get into it. And somehow my mind got flipped around when somebody would say, hey, do you watch Doctor Who? I thought they meant Mystery Science Theater. So I was like, no, that's stupid. If I had known what Doctor Who was back in the 80s, I totally would have watched it. But I didn't know what it was, and nobody took the time to explain to me what it was. And I thought it was Mystery Science Theater. But oh my gosh, John Alexander. Seriously, give Doctor Who a shot. The next season comes up. We've got a Christmas special coming up, and then series 10 starts early next year, I believe. And we've got a new companion, of course, the 12th Doctor, Peter Capaldi. This is his 3rd full season on the show. So we have an established Doctor and a new companion. So I would recommend it. And the series 8, I was really on the fence on that Doctor. I didn't like the new Doctor. Series 9, I'm on board with this Doctor. He's not my Doctor. My Doctor will always be 11. But 12 is quickly becoming one of my favorites. William DeMarco says, Legend of Tomorrow Season 2 is amazing. It feels like most comic book and just the most fun. So, and correct me if I'm wrong, from what I've heard on it, White Canary is now leading the group, which could be super interesting. So I'm going to start catching up on Legends of Tomorrow for sure. It seems like nobody really wants to talk about Doctor Who that much. I just kind of rambled about it for a little bit. So oh my God, I love MST3K and their new stuff they do on Riff Tracks. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is, John. I don't know what either of those things are. MST3K and on Riff Tracks. Okay. I think we're going to begin wrapping up. This video went way longer than what I thought it would be, which our live streams tend to do.
Yeah, they tend to do that.
Yeah. So unless anybody has any specific topics you want to talk about, we'll wrap this thing up and let everybody go to bed.
Or, check out my live stream.
Yeah, well, that too. Again, it's 9:30 p.m. on a Saturday. I don't think anybody's going to bed.
Nobody's going to bed.
Yeah.
I'm going to be live streaming on Twitch, basically sewing. So it's not exactly going to be entertaining, but you can keep me company.
Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Oh, okay.
See, all right. I was talking about Doctor Who and how when people would tell me, you need to watch Doctor Who back in the 80s, I thought it was Mystery Science Theater. And I was like, I've seen that, and it's stupid.
I loved Mystery Science Theater.
I hated it so much.
I loved it so much. I loved how they just sat there and made fun of the movies. I don't know. I just loved it.
Well, maybe I'm confusing with something else.
Isn't Mystery Science Theater where the robot dude and the guy and there's another guy and they go into a theater and you just see their silhouette against the movie and then they make fun of the movie? That's what I thought. I thought that's Mystery Science Theater.
It might be. I might be naming the wrong thing. It's very possible. We're talking about, no idea where. Okay.
You can start with You can start with any of them. You can start basically anywhere. You'll catch up.
Now, here's the thing about Doctor Who. It depends on your personal tastes.
Yeah.
If you don't like very low budget special effects and a whole lot of cheese, I would say start with a later Doctor, maybe 10 or 11. And then go back and watch the Ninth Doctor. And then if you like,
the Ninth Doctor's a little cheesy. It's very low budget. I loved it. The Ninth Doctor's my doctor, so I loved the Ninth Doctor.
Yeah. But so it just depends on your own personal taste.
But you could totally start it with this season and be okay. You'll be a little lost, but you'll catch up. It's not like you won't be able to get it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have to watch current Who before they can go back and watch the older stuff because it is very low budget and you really just gotta commit.
Yeah. So I don't know if it wasn't Mystery Science Theater, I don't know what it was that I saw like 10 minutes of when I was a kid and I was like, no. But it was a really low budget British science fiction show that was not Doctor Who. The main character wasn't any of the doctors. I know what all the doctors look like. The main character was not the Doctor. And it was a very low budget British science fiction show. And I saw a little bit of it and I was like, I'm not watching that. And I thought it was Doctor Who. And so when people would tell me you need to watch Doctor Who, I would say, no, it's stupid. But so I don't know what it was that I saw.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah, and I'm not going to go research it because it
was stupid.
like terrible British science fiction 80s. Imagine there's probably a lot of it. But yeah, so I definitely give Doctor Who a shot. We're going to be reviewing that this Christmas and next year.
Yes.
Okay. So, and if you guys like Mystery Science, you'll love Riff Tracks. Same guys who did Mystery Science.
All right, yeah, I enjoyed it. I mean, I was younger, so maybe I won't now, but I did enjoy it back then. I thought it was funny.
So it's like Beavis and Butthead for.
It's like
science fiction movies?
Three watching a movie, and they kind of make fun of it, and we're like, "Don't go up there. That's stupid." Like stuff like that. Like it's their commentary during it, and you just see their silhouettes against the show.
So it's like they've taken the audience participation element of Rocky Horror and applied it to a science fiction movie.
I guess, kind of, yeah.
That.
Yeah.
All right, I think we're gonna wrap this up. I've said that like 8 times now. We actually are going to.
Really going to.
Yeah, because Anna needs to go on her stream.
Yes.
What is your Twitch?
Twitch.tv/Anastasia Cosplay. ANNASTASIA Cosplay. And it's not going to be super interesting. I'm going to be sewing, but if you want to chat, if you're still up and you have nothing to do and you just want to BS with me, yeah, definitely keep me coming because it's tedious sewing.
Because I'm going to be watching Doctor Who while she's doing that.
Yes, because he's abandoning me.
Yes. All right, so we'll see you guys next time. Tomorrow is Sunday, so keep an eye out for our Walking Dead review. We're not doing reactions for shows anymore. We're gonna do a video on why probably tomorrow. So just while you guys are here, we're not doing reactions anymore. But thank you guys very much for tuning in. Join Anna over on her Twitch channel and keep her company while she sews and while I watch Doctor Who. Thank you very much for watching this stream. We'll see you next time.
Bye.